Hi, it's Megan Lorson. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to achieve this beautiful, whimsical, romantic down style on long hair. I'm going to be using my mannequin. Her name is Elena from Lamage. I'll try to put a link down below, but she's got really beautiful long thick hair, and I also like it too because she's got shoulders, so it makes her look more realistic, especially in pictures. It just looks a lot better in pictures. So I am going to be also using some extensions. So we're going to be using these clip-in extensions, and actually these are not real hair. One of my little secrets, I got these off Amazon. I'll try to find the link for them. They're super cheap, and they come in all different colors, and they look really realistic. These are slightly different shade of blonde, but they're gonna blend perfectly once we mix them in with her hair. They don't feel like real hair. They're soft and they look like real hair. They have like maybe the slightest bit of shine that looks a little too shiny, but I'm gonna show you how you can fix that with just using a little bit of like texture powder, and it just takes that shine right out and makes it look just like real hair. You can definitely get a couple uses out of these. I mostly have used these for photo shoots just to add like instant length or thickness to somebody's hair. And if we didn't, just so we didn't have to spend tons of money on real hair that we would use like once. So these are a great alternative for photo shoots, possibly for brides too. You can put heat on them up to, I think it's like 325 maybe. Anything hotter than that will just melt these, but they do take some heat, which is nice. And then they come curled like this with a little bit of texture. I have used heat on them before, but like I said, I mostly use these just for hairstyles that don't require heat. So I'm gonna start the style by putting the clip-in extensions in. And this, just so you know, this is what it looks like when it comes in. It's just one solid weft, and this one I think it's like 20 inches. It's a really good length. And then this is what it looks like on the other side. It has 5 clips, and you just place it around the head like this. So I'm gonna take I'm gonna use my rat tail comb, and I'm just going to section her hair off for the extensions. I'm gonna start by taking a section all the way around the head, and I wanna make sure I go down below the crown area, because when we start pulling up the volume and getting her volume in the crown area, we don't wanna see the extensions. And then I'm gonna come up here. So I want to make sure I leave plenty of space, and then you do want to make sure it's nice and even in the hair. And sometimes I'll even just do a little bit of a weave, so it doesn't have to be super perfect sectioning. And then what I like to do next is tease the hair all the way around where the extensions are going to go, because you want to make sure that they stay in and they're not going to go anywhere. So I'll just take, and if their hair's super slippery and fine, then what I like to do is take a little bit of texture powder. I'm using the Sexy Hair Big Powder Play Light, and I'm just gonna go ahead and pump that in because her hair doesn't want to tease that good. Pump it just at the root area. You don't want to get it anywhere else. And then go back in, and then it'll tease really good after that. So now I'm just gonna go and give it a little bit of a tease, and then we're going to clip those extensions right into that tease, and it's just going to give it security, so the extensions are not going to move or go anywhere. All right, and then after I've lightly teased it all the way around, if you feel like you need a little bit more powder, you can definitely go in and just spray it. That's just going to lock in that tease even more. And then we're going to take our extensions and evenly place them in the back of the head. So I'm going to just clip it in. And definitely, if you're going to be using product on these, they are really not going to last long at all. Like maybe one style. If you don't use as much product on them, then you can probably get away with using them a couple times. But again, they're just a great alternative to practice with extensions. Like I said, I've used them mostly for photo shoots when I've just needed to add some quick length or volume to someone's hair for a photo shoot. And they worked really well for that because they're super, super cheap. Okay, and then I'm using this brush with boar bristles, and this works really well with these extensions. And I'm just gonna comb out these ends, make sure they're nice and smooth. And then we're going to get started with the next section. Okay, now we're going to start with the crown area, and I love using elastics for my styles, especially on long hair. So we're going to take this top section, you can see where the extensions are underneath, and I'm going to take an elastic, just make sure we don't have any random hairs in here. Okay, there we go. Smooth out this top crown area. And then I'm going to use a clear elastic so it just blends right in with her hair. And I'm going to secure this elastic in the hair. And just make sure, I'm going to do it 3 times. Perfect. And then once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and pull out her hair up here to give it some volume and texture. This is one of my favorite parts of doing an updo. I love getting that texture in the hair and just seeing that volume. And you can pull it out as much as you'd like or as little. Keep in mind though that when you are doing hair for a photo shoot, for a wedding, they're all obviously going to be getting pictures of their hair, so you want to create a little bit more volume than maybe what they'd like, because it could fall a little bit during the day, but mostly because it's going to show up better in pictures if you go ahead and put a little bit of extra volume in the hair. So make sure you do that. I'm going to spray a little bit of hairspray on that top right there. Pull it out a little bit more until I like the amount of volume. Okay, so there is our volume. Okay, for this next part, I'm going to start with this little piece of hair on this side right here. And I'm going to split it in 2, and we're going to start twisting it. So I'm going to twist it once, and then I'm going to go ahead and start incorporating this hair back here. So I'm going to grab a little bit of that extension hair also, and I'm going to twist that into the twist, and then I'm going to grab a little bit more hair, and then I'm going to twist that too. So that way we start getting a little bit of texture on this side. And then I'm just going to twist it just a little ways back. And then I'm going to put a clip right here to just hold that for a second. I'm going to clip it into that ponytail. Actually, let me use this one. I'm going to clip it into that middle ponytail section, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to grab a little bit of hair from up here. And the reason I'm doing that is so this all flows nicely together. I'm going to split that in half, and I'm going to twist it once, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of this extension hair. Oops, let me do that again. Okay, I'm going to twist this once, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of this extension hair right here and incorporate that into the twist. Twist that around once, And then I'm gonna grab a little bit more hair. And then I'm gonna twist that. And it's important when you're twisting and braiding that you actually stand in the direction. So you actually don't want to be braiding or twisting or braiding straight out and then come back where you want, because that's when you're gonna get really weird gaps. So make sure you're always standing in the direction that you want the braid or the twist to come. So you want to stand back here to make sure that the twist or the braid is going to lay exactly how and where you want it. So once I get this twist back here, I'm going to hold my... Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and finish incorporating and bringing the rest of this hair that's on both sides back into the back, and then we can start working on the rest of the hair. So what I'm going to do for these front set pieces that are still left is I'm going to split them in half, and we're just going to twist it again. So I'm going to make sure I'm standing back where I want it to come, and I'm just going to twist it, twist, twist, and then once I get it twisted, I'm gonna just manipulate the hair. I'm gonna pull out these twists a little bit, just like this. Make sure I like the amount of volume, where it's laying. And then I'm gonna lay it across the back right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and just bobby pin this in the hair. And take another one and just crisscross it in. I'm gonna give that a little spray. And then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And also I am leaving out some hair in the front. So determine how much hair you want in the front, which I want it to be very loose. So I'm gonna leave quite a bit out and just kind of have it flowy. Take a little bit more. No, not that piece. Let me see. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to split this in 2 sections. And we're just going to start. Let me smooth some of this frizz out. Actually, hold on. I'm going to use a little bit of this whip taffy. She's got a little bit of frizz, and I love using this whip taffy by Kenra. It just smooths the frizz out, but also keeps a little bit of texture in the hair, or gives it a little bit of texture to help you manipulate your styles, but still keep that frizz out of it. I'm just going to run that through a little bit, and you do want to make sure that you rub that through your hands, because if not, you don't want a big glob of it to stick onto the hair. All right, now we're going to split this into 2 sections. Get a little bit more hair on this bottom. Okay, and then we're just going to start twisting, 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 twisting. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull this up a little bit, and I'm going to start pulling out this twist a little bit. Okay, and then I'm just going to take another bobby pin and secure this into the hair. And then I'm going to twist this a little bit more, and then I'm actually going to feed it through the middle and pull it through. Perfect. And then I'm going to take another bobby pin and just secure the one that I just put in. One thing I like to do when I am doing my styles and my updos is just as I go, make sure everything is proportional. Make sure I like the amount of volume on both sides, And so I'll just kind of check through it as I go to make sure everything is proportional and as much volume, because when you finish a style, a lot of times it's going to be a lot harder and nearly impossible to pull the hair out more if you want more volume. So as I go, I just like to check it. And a little trick that I like to do too is take like the end of my teasing comb or the end of like one of my rat tail combs, and I'll just slide it in the hair, and you can just gently pull the hair up a little bit if you want to give it more volume, and you can spray it if you need a little bit more lift in certain areas. So I'll just kind of do that all the way around, and then I can get as much lift as I like. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is, got these two little tails right here. I'm going to tie those in a knot. And then I'm just going to take a little bobby pin and weave that in underneath to lock in that little twist. And then this ponytail that's hanging here, we're going to do a little ponytail flip. So I'm going to flip that over like this, and then we're going to pull out the twist where we flipped it over and just expand it. And then I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. Tighten it, and then I'm just going to pull it out a little bit more. Pull it out. And then just tighten it. Perfect. And then I'm gonna make sure I keep this hair brush, especially since I'm working with these extensions, just to make sure we keep it as much frizz out of it as possible. I'm just gonna keep pulling it till I like where it's at. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tuck these little tail pieces through there. So they just start to, and then I'm actually gonna just bobby pin them so they stay in there, so they're not popping out later. I'm just gonna weave it in there. Perfect. And I kind of brought this together too a little bit more in the middle when I weaved that part in. Okay, then I'm gonna take another section from this side and another section from this side, and I am making sure that they are proportional in size to each other, so they're about the same amount of thickness on both sides. Make sure they're nice and smooth. And then I'm going to take another elastic, and I'm going to secure those together. I'm going to do it 3 times, and then once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and hold this right here and just give this a good brush at the ends to make sure everything's nice and smooth. Make sure you hold this part right here just so it doesn't start pulling hair out. And I'm going to stick my fingers up through here, give this a little twist, and then we're just going to tuck that under, flip it. And then I'm going to pull this out. And I'm just going to keep doing that until I like how much is pulled out. And then I'm going to just tighten this up a little bit. And don't worry about too much if you pull out some too much, or you can always go back in at the end and kind of weave in some bobby pins and shape it up a little bit. And again, I'm just checking my style as I go, make sure everything's proportional the way I like it. I'm going to go ahead and weave a little bobby pin in here to bring this middle section together a little bit more. Okay, and then we're going to take 2 more sections, one on this side. Gonna hold the top of this and just make sure this is nice and smooth. And then we're going to take another section on this side. And I'm going to fold that. Just give that a little brush. And then I'm going to take another elastic. And we're going to secure that together. And then we're going to split it in the middle. Take my 2 fingers through, give it a little twist so it's easier to pull through, and flip it. And you could easily flip it twice if you wanted to. When you flip it twice, it just gives it more of a twist. So then you have more texture in the hair. That's the one thing I love about updos and creating styles. You can really be so creative with it. There's more than one way to achieve certain styles. But this is just going to give it a little bit of a different texture. And you can see it's given it more texture, I guess. How many times can I say texture? And then just pull it tight. I'm just going to pull it out a little bit more so it stays consistent with what we have going on up here. I love these styles. These are one of my favorite styles to do. They're just so whimsical and romantic, and it's a great way for brides to keep their hair essentially down but still have it a beautiful style. Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and take a bobby pin and just weave it through the center. And then we're gonna take another one and I'm gonna crisscross the one I just put in. And it's important that you do crisscross your bobby pins, especially if you're weaving it through a style like this, because if not, it's just gonna slide out at some point. And a lot of times what I'll actually do is spray a little bit of this texture powder in first and then weave my bobby pins in, because this will keep them locked in. All right, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna take a section from this side, a section from this side, make sure they're smoothed out. And then I'm gonna take an elastic and I'm going to secure these together. And then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna split it down the center and I'm going to flip it once and just pull that out. And then I'm going to scooch that little elastic up a little bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and do another one, put these together, and then we'll finish off the style. Okay, and then once I get pretty much to the end, I just have this little tail left. I first like to just go back through and pinch and pull out any pieces to either cover elastics and also just to shape it so it's got a nice even shape and nice even flow to the whole style. And then you can end this one of two ways. You can either leave it down with a nice little curl, which it has now. Let me see if you guys can see that. Or we can tuck it under, which I'm gonna go ahead and tuck hers under, so I'll show you. Okay, so what I'm gonna do for her ends is go ahead and take another elastic and I'm gonna just secure the ends and tie it fairly close to the ends. And I'm gonna do this I think I just did that like 5 times to make sure it's really secure because it's getting skinnier at the end. And then what I'm gonna do is At this point, I will take some texture powder and just put it all into the hair. Put some down here. And then I'm going to give that a little twist and fold it under. And then just take a bobby pin and stick it right through that elastic that we just put on the ends and weave it through one of the last elastic that we put up here, and then just weave it through the underneath of the hair. And then I'm going to take one more bobby pin and crisscross it and put it through the center of that elastic as well, just to keep it nice and secured. Perfect. And then it's just part of the style, and then you can pull this out at the ends if you need to. And there we have our completed style. I'll go ahead and give you guys a 360 view of this whole entire style. And then last but not least, I'm gonna go ahead and we'll just curl her front pieces. I'm just gonna go through with my 1-inch curling iron and just curl these pieces up front. Make them nice and soft. And we go around it to the other side. And you can even bring this back here and spray it. Do whatever you want to do with it. And then I do a lot of times like to finish the front off with like a texture, some kind of texture product to hold that front piece, because a lot of times hairspray can get too heavy or it starts making the hair look too shiny and can honestly just start to weigh the hair down versus really hold it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit more of that Kenra Whip Taffy and just kind of run it through the front pieces. And this honestly just helps to soften it too. And if there's any frizz too, it'll help with frizz. Just make sure you rub it on your hands first before you use it. And there she is, all completed. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. This is one of my favorite styles to do. It's just so pretty. And if you guys have any other video requests or any other styles you'd like to see, let me know in the comments below. I read all the comments and I try to make videos according to what you all request. I also do videos on color as well. So I've got some color videos coming out soon, but right now I'm doing a lot of weddings, a lot of bridal hair. So that's what I am kind of focused on right now. So if you guys have any other requests, let me know. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you found it helpful. And please share it with your friends if you found it helpful, because I just love helping people learn different techniques and different things, and I love learning from people as well, so we can all help each other out. Thank you all, and I will see you in the next one.